welcome back to Goodnight Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy, and I'm here to read you another story. And I have another book about pumpkins. I know we've been reading a lot of them lately, but it's fall, and it's beautiful, and it makes us think of pumpkins. And I found a book about some good friends and something they make together. And this book is called Pumpkin Soup. Pumpkin Soup. This is a story about these three friends and the fact that they each have a job to do when it comes to making this special, yummy pumpkin soup. But I think something goes wrong. Yes, I think something goes wrong with their friendship and the making of the soup. We're going to have to get into this book and see what happens. Are you ready to get inside this book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go. Pumpkin Soup by Helen Cooper. Deep in the woods, there's an old white cabin with pumpkins in the garden. There's a good smell of soup, and at night, with luck, you might see a bagpiping cat through the window, and a squirrel with a banjo, and a small singing duck. Pumpkin soup, the best you ever tasted, made by the cat who sliced up the pumpkins, made by the squirrel who stirs in the water, made by the duck who scoops up a pipkin of salt and tips in just enough. Look, the three friends working together to make a great pumpkin soup. They slurp their soup and play their song, then pop off to bed in a quilt stitched together by the cat, embroidered by the squirrel, and filled with fine feathers from the duck. And it's a peaceful in the old white cabin. Everybody has his own job to do. Everybody is happy. Or so it seems. Well, they look happy. But one morning the duck woke up early. He tiptoed into the kitchen and smiled at the squirrel's special spoon. "Wouldn't it be fine," he murmured, "if I could be the head cook?" He drew up a stool, hopped on top, and reached until his beak just topped the tip of the spoon. Kerplunk! Down it clattered. Then the duck trotted back to the bedroom, held up the spoon, and said, "Today it's my turn to stir the soup." Uh-oh. Duck wants to do squirrel's job. "That's mine," squeaked the squirrel. "Stirring is my job. Give that back." "You're much too small," snapped the cat. "We'll cook the way we always have." But the duck held on tight until the squirrel tugged with all his might, and whoops! The spoon spun through the air and bopped the cat on the head. Then there was trouble, a horrible squabble, a row, a racket, a rumpus in the old white cabin. Oh no! The three friends got in a terrible fight. "I'm not staying here," wailed the duck. "You never let me help with anything." And he packed up the wheelbarrow, put on his hat, and waddled away. "You'll be back," stormed the cat, "after we've cleaned up." And the squirrel shook his spoon in the air, but the duck didn't come back. Not for breakfast, not even for lunch. "I'll find him," scoffed the cat. "He'll be hiding outside." They're missing their friend. The duck went away. "I bet he's in the pumpkin patch." But the duck was not in the pumpkin patch. They could not find him anywhere. So they waited all that long afternoon. The cat watched the door. The squirrel paced the floor. "That duck will be sorry when he comes home," they muttered. But the duck didn't come home, not even at soup time. They're angry, but they miss their friend. The soup wasn't tasty. They'd made it too salty. They didn't feel hungry anymore. They both sobbed over soup, and their tears dripped in the soup, making it even saltier. "We should have let him stir the soup," sniffed the squirrel. "He was only trying to help," wept the cat. "Let's go out and look for him." They miss their friend so much. They feel bad now that they didn't let him help. So they're going to go look for him. The cat and the squirrel were scared as they wandered down the path in the dark, dark woods. They feared for the duck, all alone in the trees, and the foxes and the wolves and the witches and the bears. But they couldn't find him. They searched and searched, but they couldn't find their friend. On and on they trudged until they reached the end of a steep, steep cliff. "Maybe he fell down there," wailed the cat. "I'll save him," squeaked the squirrel, and he scrambled down on a long, shaky rope. He searched all around on the ground, but he couldn't find the duck. Then the cat whispered in a sad little voice, "Duck might have found some better friends." "He might," sighed Squirrel, "friends who let him help." And the more they thought about it, as they plodded back, the more they were sure they were right. Now they're so sure that their friend found new friends and doesn't want to be their friend anymore. And they're very sad. But when they were almost home, they saw a light shining from the old white cabin. "It's Duck!" they shrieked as they burst through the door. And Duck was so happy to see them. He was also very hungry and thought it was late. And they thought they would all make some pumpkin soup. When the duck stirred, the cat and squirrel didn't say a word, not even when the duck stirred the soup so fast that it slopped right out of the pot, not even when the pot got burnt. Then the duck showed the squirrel how to measure out the salt, and the soup was still the best you ever tasted. So once again, it was peaceful in the old white cabin, until Duck said, "I think I'll play the bagpipes now." And they played their music and were very happy to be back together. The friends worked it all out. Oh, I was so worried when they got into that fight. That made me really, really sad. Friends shouldn't argue and fight like that, all because Duck wanted a different job in the making of the soup, and his other friends didn't want him to have it. But then after Duck left, they realized, we should have let him help with the stirring of the soup. It's okay sometimes to let your friends do something that you normally do. It's okay to just let things be a little different. The most important thing is to be a good friend. And in the end, they got back together and realized it didn't matter who did what. All that mattered was that they were together. That's what friendship's all about, and that's probably what made the soup taste so delicious, was the fact that they made it together as friends. This was a good book. I really liked it. I really liked their friendship. That was a lot of fun to read about. I liked getting to know them. Now, it's time for my little ducks to waddle off to bed. I need you to get under your covers and get cuddled up and curled up and ready for a good night's sleep. And I need you to be thinking about what book you would like Miss Dorothy to read. Do you think you could send me a book or tell me the name of a book? I'd be happy to read it for you, but you have to tell me what your favorite book is, and then I'll read it and I'll call out your name. And I need you to subscribe and come back and see me, because I love reading to you. It's one of the things I'm most thankful for, the fact that I get to read books to you. Now, it's time for you to get to sleep. I need you to get cuddled up and curled up and have a great night's sleep. And when you wake up tomorrow and you're jumping around your house, I need you to do one thing very, very, very important. Obey, and obey right away. And then come back and see me, because I'm going to be sitting right here ready to do another book to you. Bye!